Self-control is common to all the virtues, and therefore whoever practices self-control must do so in all things. If any part, however small, of a man's body is removed, the whole man is disfigured. Likewise, he who disregards one single virtue destroys unwittingly the whole harmonious order of self-control. It is therefore necessary to cultivate not only the bodily virtues, but also those which have the power to purify our inner man. What is the good of a man keeping the virginity of his body, if he lets his soul commit adultery with the demons of disobedience? Or what is the good of a man controlling gluttony and his other bodily desires, if he makes no effort to avoid vanity and self-esteem, and does not endure with patience even the slightest affliction? At the judgment, what crown will he deserve when a just reward is given only to those who have accomplished works of righteousness and a spirit of humility? Those pursuing the spiritual way should train themselves to hate all uncontrolled desires until this hatred becomes habitual. With regard to self-control in eating, we must never feel loathing for any kind of food, for to do so is abominable and utterly demonic. It is emphatically not because any kind of food is bad in itself that we refrain from it, but by not eating too much or too richly, we can to some extent keep in check the excitable parts of our body. In addition, we can give to the poor what remains over, for this is the mark of sincere love. It is in no way contrary to the principles of true knowledge to eat and drink from all that is set before you, giving thanks to God. For everything is very good. Genesis chapter 1, verse 31. But gladly to abstain from eating too pleasurably or too much shows greater discrimination and understanding. However, we shall not gladly detach ourselves from the pleasures of this life unless we have fully and consciously tasted the sweetness of God. When, heavy with overeating, the body makes the intellect spiritless and sluggish. Likewise, when weakened by excessive abstinence, the body makes the contemplative faculty of the soul dejected and disinclined to concentrate. We should therefore regulate our food according to the conditions of the body, so that it is appropriately disciplined when in good health and adequately nourished when weak. The body of one pursuing the spiritual way must not be enfeebled. He must have enough strength for his labors, so that the soul may be suitably purified through bodily exertion as well. When, as a result of visits from some of our brethren or some strangers, we are fiercely attacked by thoughts of self-esteem, it is good to relax our normal regime to a certain extent. In this way, the demon will be frustrated and driven out, regretting his attempt. Moreover, we shall properly fulfill the rule of love, and by relaxing our usual practice, we shall keep hidden the mystery of our self-control. Fasting, while of value in itself, is not something to boast of in front of God, for it is simply a tool for training those who desire self-restraint. The ascetic should not feel proud because he fasts, but with faith in God he should think only of reaching his goal. For no artist ever boasts that his accomplishment is simply due to his tools, but he waits for the work itself to give proof of his skill. When watered in due measure, the earth yields a good, clean crop from the seed sown in it. But when it is soaked with torrential rain, it bears nothing but thistles and thorns. Likewise, when we drink wine in due measure, the earth of the heart yields a clean crop from its natural seed and produces a fine harvest from what is sown in it by the Holy Spirit. But if it is soaked through excessive drinking, the thoughts it bears will be nothing but thistles and thorns. When our intellect is swimming in the waves of excessive drink, it not only regards with passion the images formed in it by the demons while we sleep, but also itself forms attractive appearances, treating its own fantasies as if they were women whom it ardently loved. For when the sexual organs are heated by wine, the intellect cannot avoid forming in itself pleasurable pictures reflecting our passion. So we must keep due measure and escape the harm that comes from excess. For when the intellect is not affected by the pleasure that seduces it to the picturing of sin, it remains completely free from fantasy and debility. People who wish to discipline the sexual organs should avoid drinking those artificial concoctions which are called aperitifs, presumably because they open a way to the stomach for the vast meal which is to follow. Not only are they harmful to our bodies, but their fraudulent and artificial character greatly offends the conscience wherein God dwells. For what does wine lack that we should sap its healthy vigor by adulterating it with a variety of condiments?